special instructions here, Shiloh?
Nope, just do what you guys do. You're amazing.
All right, let's get going. Okay, welcome everybody. We're going to talk about social media and real estate. I'm Sarah Bernard, and I am from St. Louis, Missouri. You heard us chatting about that. I have a real estate business here in St. Louis. We've got a team of about 5 or 6 agents. It sort of fluctuates daily, but different. We also have a vacation rental business here, so we have 2 different kind of social media focuses, I guess, if you will, and different pages and that kind of thing for the different businesses. Social media has been a huge part of my business since, going back years and years. I used to focus mostly on Twitter, and now we've kind of we're doing some different things today. So I'm happy to be here. And also I'm a coach with Workman Success Systems, and I love my coaching clients. So thank you to those of you who have joined us today. And I'm also totally cheating by having Alicia on this call, but it's a big, huge benefit to everyone. So Alicia manages our social media. So let's segue to Tammy. Introduce yourself, and then we'll go to Alicia, and you can talk about what you do for us and for others. So.
Well, so I am subbing today for Samantha. Samantha is out sick today, and she is really sad she's not going to be here. She was messaging with me this morning how sad she was about this. So unfortunately, all of you that came here for this Samantha and Sarah show, I apologize that you're getting Tammy in this as well. So I'm sorry for that, but hopefully you're still going to take some value out of this from me. But I am Tammy Slay, and I'm from the North Dallas area, which is Frisco, Texas. Currently, I am in Scottsdale, Arizona. My grandson turned 1 last week, and my son is getting married on Saturday in Arizona. So I am here for that, and we were talking earlier about the weather here. It's 115 degrees. So we're hearing of the snow happening up north, but it is hot here. And I am a senior coach with Workman Success Systems, as well as a Workman Success client. I've been coaching with Workman Success for just hitting 3 years this month. So this is my anniversary with them, where I will hit 3 years of coaching with Workman Success. I'm excited to be here. And I lead a team and a brokerage and broker owner and team leader out of the Dallas area, Frisco, Texas. And that is HIP Realty Group.
I think it's great that we have you, Tammy.
Yeah, we're so excited.
All right, Alicia,
for the shout out too.
Yeah. So hi guys, I'm Alicia, and I am the co-owner of Socially Inspired. Like Sarah said, we're based in St. Louis, and I am the director of digital strategy. So we serve a lot of clients. We've been in business about 8 years right now. A little fun fact: I was on a Twitter focus group before Twitter became a Twitter. At Mizzou. We've been serving clients. We work with celebrities to, small startups to regional brands, developing primarily their social media presence. And right now the hot thing is influencer marketing. So our business does a lot of that part. So I'm really excited to be here, and, and obviously Sarah is a lovely, wonderful client. It's been amazing starting Sarah. I think when we took over her Instagram, she had like 200 followers, and now she has over 3,000, and all just
now
hard
that
work and being a social butterfly on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh. I think we lost Sarah.
I think Sarah froze. But she froze in a good position. If you ever want to freeze, okay? When I freeze, it's like the when Sarah freezes,
so funny.
She's like that, So if you got it, we got her back.
He's back.
Talking about how great Alicia is, but all right. So hopefully we might have some tech issues if things freeze, but that's how Zoom is these days.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I think would be, we kind of the 3 of us chatted about this webinar today and what we want to talk about, but we also really want to engage with everyone who's joining us with any questions you have. Pop them up on the chat or the Q&A as we go. We'll definitely leave time at the end for questions as well. And, you know, one of the things that I've learned is social media is something that is ever evolving. It changes literally weekly. And and Alicia probably is the most up to date on what the latest and greatest in social media and where it's headed. So though I'm sure there'll be lots of questions for you, Alicia. Tammy and I are going to talk a little bit about how we use social media in our businesses and why it's important. So I'll just jump into our business. And like I said, I've been using social media. I'm not a huge user of social media. I'm very uncomfortable with it personally. I just will be out there with that. I post. I have a lot of friends, if you will, but I keep my business social media separate from my personal. Although I do share the personal because I do need to constantly remind people in my sphere of influence that I'm in the real estate business. And one of the best ways to do that is via social media. I've struggled on my team with agents who are even less comfortable with it than I am. And I've had to really encourage my team to share our posts and to use social media because it's where they're going to reach a lot of people the easiest, the quickest, and the cheapest way. I have gotten listings because people see they see our social media presence. I've had people tell me over and over again, we're hiring you because we get your advertising. It follows us. We see it. We know that you're out there on the cutting edge. So that's a really big reason I do it. I know I'm not necessarily going to sell a house on social media. I mean, I don't think I have yet, but we post all of our listings, but we get business because of it. We get, we get new listings. So that's a big reason that we do it. So, so overall, I'm using social media to get listings, to build awareness of our brand. And like I said, we have two different presences on social media. We have our vacation rental business and we have our real estate business, and we do share between the two if there's something common for both of those. And we have our clients posting and tagging us as much as possible. We see it a little bit more on the vacation side, but we definitely encourage it in both businesses. We also have a special sort of insider VIP club, and we have a special private Facebook page just for those people. Those are all of our past clients, all of our top 50 for all of our agents, and those people go to a special club and they get special discounts and deals from our vendors and monthly giveaways and things like that in the VIP club, and that's on Facebook, in a private group on Facebook. They have to be invited to be in it, so it's sort of exclusive. And then of course we have our personal pages. So each agent on my team has a business page and a personal page. We do have our main business page, but then we encourage our agents to share from that content to their page because it's just hitting more and more people. So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, as Alicia mentioned. We're starting to do a little bit more with LinkedIn, and Pinterest is on our radar. Those are our primary platforms right now, and we do a lot of video. We do more formal video where I'm in front of a camera and I will record a 2 or 3 minute video on a topic. We've done some out in the community, but we reuse these videos because they're usually general enough that they're not about a specific home, but they're about what's things you can do to get your home ready for sale, things like that. And so we can reuse that content. So we do video, we post articles, we post links to our listings, and then Alicia's team does a lot of advertisements on social media for us, which she'll talk about. And then we're posting several times a week, so pretty high frequency, and we try to keep it lively, engaging. We try to encourage conversation because that's how you're going to get more people, more followers, is just by engagement. Basically that's all. That's kind of an overview of what we do. And Tammy, why don't we go to you and you can kind of talk about what you do in social media, which I'm sure you've got some other different things that you're doing as well.
So the social media platforms that I participate in is Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I'm dipping my toes into TikTok. Just this week that started we started dipping our toes into TikTok this week, and that was a big push from my son-in-law. So he's a TikTok marketer and works as an entrepreneur, but he also works with the marketing team at the company TikTok, and then he sells courses outside of that. So he's been pushing me for a while to dip into TikTok. So we're starting to dip into that and having a little bit of fun with it. My entire philosophy around social media is following behaviors of people and habits of people. I love this study of habits and behavior of those that follow me or consumers that are in the market. We do a lot of this in real estate anyways. We study the habits and the behaviors of sellers. We study the habits and behaviors of buyers, and we build our action plans and our platforms, everything around what people are actually doing. So my entire focus around social media is around that. For example, and we talked a little bit about this on the Riz Media article, and yesterday when I knew I was going to be coming on this call, I talked a little bit about that, but this is a real life example when I'm talking about how do I handle our social media by the behaviors and habits of the consumers in the market. And one is, many of you have been in Facebook and you've been in a group like your city. So it could be the Frisco Moms, it could be Prosper Moms, it could be Salt Lake City Moms. You know, there's those mom Facebook groups out there that are named after the city. And when someone is moving into an area and they join that group, or someone wants to move out of an area, they typically go into these Facebook groups and they just ask, hey, I'm moving to the area. We're looking for a really good agent. Either we've not had a good experience or we've yet to contact an agent. Does anybody have any recommendations? Well, certainly when you see those posts come up, it's like, you know, the goldfish are being fed or the koi are being fed, and they don't. And all these people come in, including agents, and they start tagging themselves, or past clients of an agent will tag their agent. The majority of those tags are an individual Facebook page. It's not a business page. The majority of people don't tag the Facebook page, either because the Facebook page isn't a member of the group, or they just don't know their agent's business Facebook page, but they end up tagging the individual. So imagine yourself as this person from out of state, and you have 50 recommendations from different people, and they're tagging an individual person. When that stranger, that prospective client, goes and clicks on each of those names, it takes them to a personal page, because that's what was linked, that's what was tagged. And then as they scroll down, and I have found the majority of people only look at 4 to 5 of the past posts. That's about the time span that we have, the patience, attention span of a consumer. When they scroll down and they look at that, they have their first impression already of that person. So when I see this behavior, because I do this behavior, I've seen this behavior with other people, when I see that, I think, what's my first impression in the last 4 to 5 public, and it's very important that this is a public post, not a friend post. So what is my last 4 to 5 public post, and what impression does that give to a stranger? So these are leads that you don't even know you're missing out on. There's somebody else that's giving your name in any Facebook group. You may not even be in this Facebook group. It may be a completely separate Facebook group. It could be a religious Facebook group. It could be a homeschool Facebook group. It could be any other Facebook group out there that you may not be a part of, but someone tagged you. And they go to look at your Facebook page and they see the last 4 to 5 public posts, and they get an idea or an impression, their perception of who you are, whether that's someone they want to work with or not. And what's surprising is when you follow this behavior, and do this yourself, I would encourage you to practice this. Go, when you see some of these posts happening, go and start clicking on people that you're not friends with, because all you're going to see are their public posts. If it's completely empty, it just has a headshot, you know, their profile in there, and that's it, then you don't know what kind of business reputation that person has. Are they really busy in the business? When you get a hold of someone that has 4 to 5 posts, recent posts of them active in real estate, or maybe someone, you know, sharing something on their personal page about working with them, then that's the first impression that person gets. And that's usually who they end up reaching out to as they select who they're going to interview for their own representation. So when I talk about my, you know, platform with social media, it's about behavior. It's more about engagement. It's more about lead generation. It's not the number of followers that I get, because I've seen some people who are really great at having a lot of followers, but they don't have engagement. They're not getting leads. And when I look at our numbers where we have right now, and I pulled it up for the call to get the update, there's been 113 Facebook leads for the year that's resulted in 1.6 million GCI just in 2020. So that's important to me. What is the lead? So I'm focusing on our outward facing reputation, and how is that outward facing image and reputation, what is it saying to the market out there, and what's the return on that?
And there's some questions coming in too that are really great. We will definitely get to these questions. Melissa just mentioned that she lists that she's a realtor. So absolutely, in your personal page, you want to, like Tammy's saying, you want to have an indication of what your profession is. Look at that, and you can look at your Facebook page to see what the public can see, and make sure that it's relevant to what your business is. And Alicia, do you want to talk a little bit about lead generation? So how to get leads from Facebook, social media?
Absolutely. So I'm going to actually expound on what Tammy said, because she's hit a lot of good points. And I think one of the things that Sarah has done really well is that from the very beginning, she knew the importance of branding and professionalism and understanding every single type of post that goes out. So part of lead generation, I mean, if you're going into just saying, I want leads that way, I just want leads and nothing else, then you're missing the big picture. But what Sarah and Tammy, I'm assuming they're doing is, with Sarah, is we wanted to showcase a lifestyle. And for Sarah, if you met Sarah, she's very poised, very professional, and very comforting. And we wanted to translate that, what you would feel when you're around Sarah in person, online. And with that said, every post that we create is very, very thoughtful and meticulous. So it's not just like, oh, I woke up today, it's Wednesday, let's post this coffee. Because what happens is it's going to accumulate. And if you do that, it's going to look very unprofessional. So Sarah has her own private, Facebook page, but when it comes to our Facebook business outward facing, we do what we call content pillars. So we have testimonials that we actually design in all her colors. We have a system, kind of a process when from her first listing to when she sells her house. And then we do things like lifestyle, promoting her video, and what we do is we kind of have a theme going on every month, and then an overall benchmark that we're trying to hit. So if it's summer, we try to do a lot of things about outside, and if it's fall, we kind of focus a little bit more about, serving her customers and all that, and her clients and stuff like that. And then from that, we pick specific posts and ads, and we'll go in and talk a little bit more of the difference between a campaign versus boosting a post, and when to do that correctly. And also about how do we, with the new, to be really careful, ever since Cambridge, Mark Zuckerberg was hauled to Congress, they're very, very strict when it comes to promoting housing. I mean, they will shut your account down right off the bat if you have one misstep. So what we try to do is, and obviously budget is, everyone has a limited budget, and our role is to make sure how can we use that money that Sarah gives us as effective as possible, and as much as possible. So we like to take one post a month that we boost it. And this could just be, there's no call to action. It's just a matter of like, perhaps Sarah closed a deal and it's a picture of a client and with a key in front of our office. So, and then we'll boost that content, and then we'll have a specific one, which is more objective oriented, if that makes sense. So for example, if there's a house in a specific area that she's trying to sell, and she has the video probably just talking about the neighborhood, we'll take that video, we'll create content around it and a specific call to action to her website, and then we'll promote that to, you know, people around, not around the area, but following the guidelines that Facebook has set in place. So those are some of the ideas. And so we do that every month. And the goal is eventually, you know, she'll get a lead, and that helps with her brand awareness.
Some of the ads, it's the ads, I believe, the boosted posts, I should say, that are ones generating the most conversation. Is that correct? Because
Absolutely.
yeah, and you see that happening. All of a sudden you see people sharing your posts, and that's all about this boosting. And what you're talking about with Zuckerberg in front of Congress and the whole housing, it has to do with advertising in to specific demographic groups. You cannot do that. You have to be very careful about advertising your homes, your listings, so that you're not targeting or, you know, doing something that would be contrary to the fair housing laws.
Yeah, so you can't do zip coding. So we used to be able to do that, which was great because, you know, we could really target specific areas. So they completely cut that out because it's discrimination. And now they've actually even took it to a next step, is you can't even do, honestly, you can't even do cultural affinity. So for example, if I liked, you know, Mulan, you know, you can't even do that. But what you can do is you can kind of do, also I'd say take it one step back, and you can do like behavioral. So, you know, if someone was to buy that particular home, you know, you can kind of target it in a sense of like, you know, what kind of food do they eat? Do they watch
lifestyle
kind of gains, more lifestyle? But you know, it's frustrating as a marketer because I've seen such great results when I was zip coding it, because you could really target around that area. But I understand Facebook's mission and what they're trying to avoid. So it's a hit and miss. So what I always recommend is, and we do that for Sarah, is to do a split A/B. So basically a split A/B is basically the same ad, but a different variation. And that really helps, and you can kind of tweak that. And I kind of would do it like 7 days. So you can kind of take a look at it, go in on day 7 and kind of see where the results are, as in like cost per click and cost per thousand. Is this what you want? Are you seeing results? If you're not, you know, you can go in and change the keywords.
Now, the zip coding, but you can still market it, and you can still boost ads, and you can still do lead ads for a geographical region. So when I, you know, like for us, because we do it off of behaviors, I know where the majority, if there's a company that is moving a lot of their people from a certain state into our area, then I pay Facebook when we do our lead ad and we do our property post, then I will market it where that state is. So when we had Toyota move from California into the Dallas area, we took our properties and we marketed it in California. So we were able to track even those that were looking at it in California, and we generated quite a few sales that way on our properties. They didn't sell through us, but they did sell through their agent. And we were able to ask that question of, did they happen to see any of our marketing ads? But we were able to market to out-of-state areas based upon the buyer behavior, those that are moving to the area. So even though the zip code's out, you can still do the geographical area. You just have to select it's the housing ad that you're marketing.
Yeah. So basically you can still, you know, like for example, you know, we would do St. Louis, Missouri. So you can do basically a more generic version, but I can't go in and do like, you know, Frontenac or very specific 63104, you know, and that to avoid, But what we've done, you know, we will do like geography, which is, you know, say we're trying to target maybe surrounding counties, and then we'll add another layer of behavioral keywords underneath there. And
go back to something, or did you finish that thought?
Yeah.
So something that you said a minute ago, I think is really important, and that is regarding branding. And everybody, whether you have a team or you're a solo agent, you should be sort of clear on who are you, what is your brand, what are you representing to the community? Is it a certain type of housing stock? Is it a certain price range? Is it a certain mission that you have? Who are you in that marketplace? And that can be everything from your personal image to the font you use, the colors you use, your logo, all of those things. And you have to be very consistent with using those over and over and over on all of the platforms, and consistent with your website too. And really drawing people to your website is ultimately what you want to be doing. And so something that Alicia had mentioned kind of in passing is just this idea of being consistent with that look in all of our social media. So I just wanted to make sure that point was made clear. We have a whole bunch of questions. I wonder if we should check the questions and address these, because they're really, really good. Let's see. So Era had asked about how long are most of our videos. You know, it's interesting. I mean, I think the ones I'm doing are about 2 to 3 minutes. You can be 30 seconds. I also do television on the side, and the TV shows, they can be 25, 30 minutes long. People are going to watch what they want to watch, right? So you want to be really quick to get your key message out there at the beginning. You know, I would say for the most part, Alicia, would you say the less than 5 minutes for social media is best?
Oh yeah, I would even go, my husband does video for a living, and I would even say less than a minute. I mean, it really depends on the content of your video. But the point of video marketing is, I mean, they're scrolling, you know, so less than a minute, it's perfect. If you're doing testimonial, honestly, 30 seconds, you know, it's pretty quick, so.
And you can shoot your own videos. You know, I've done a lot in the studio, but somebody just gave me a tripod. I'm so excited about it. I'm very behind the times here because probably everybody watching this has their own tripod, but I can shoot my own now. So watch out. So there's going to be more video coming from me that are seconds. It's easy, just good lighting. And
actually Facebook and Instagram loves videos, and especially Instagram released Instagram Reels now to, you know, they're trying to be competitive with TikTok. So, but yeah, video is great. People love it, and a lot of engagement, and yeah.
Now, Tammy, you've done some really great videos. I've seen some of yours. What's your strategy on videos?
It depends on the platform. So I would say the length of it is very different depending on the platform. When you market videos on Facebook, they say the ones that are 2 minutes get the most traction. So that's just coming straight from Facebook. When I boost those videos, they encourage it to be at least 2 minutes. And then if I'm in the stories of Facebook or in the stories of Instagram, which we do a lot in our stories, say we post a lot more in our stories than we actually do on our pages. Those, you know, keeping it 15 seconds or under. So, you know, in TikTok or the Reels, they're a little different. So it's going to depend on the platform. They kind of like, depending on which social media, how long do you want your post? If you're on Twitter, you want to keep it short and sweet. If you're, you know, on Facebook, you might write a little bit more in it. So it depends on the platform that you're using, because each one will respond to it differently. That's just been my impression of that. When I'm looking at my views and I'm looking at my engagement, each one will respond a little differently depending on the platform.
Talk about stories versus posting on your page.
So the stories is, you know, it's just that one that just scrolls across the top of her end. Stories is a short and sweet thing. If I'm putting in a sign in the yard, that's going to go in stories. If I'm meeting up with someone, that's going to go in stories. It's something that I don't necessarily feel is relevant, or I don't want to hog up and dilute my page with just, you know, little things here and there. So if I'm at a closing and it's not a, you know, full on polished picture, but I'm just like waiting on closing, which snack should we eat? You know, should we go for the goldfish or should we go for the cookies? What are you thinking? That's going to be a stories post in there. You know, meeting with the team this morning, topic of discussion is this, that's going to go in stories. So it's more of the day-to-day life that we're doing that's just engaging and entertaining to people, but not necessarily something that would bog down the page itself.
Yeah, because it does disappear within 24 hours.
Yes.
So that's the whole point. It was like, it's fun. It's like in the day situation. You can save them and, it becomes little like tabs on top.
The
But
highlights.
yeah, it's fun. Like my husband still like, he just doesn't understand in the stories. He's like, why? It's my own reality show.
It kind of is. And you get a lot of engagement. So you can post music with it. You can ask questions with it.
Yeah.
If we use it for lead generation, everything's pretty purposeful with us. But sometimes it's just for kicks, just for fun. But there's a lot of questions you can ask of people. You can do polls on there. You'll find that there are certain people that will respond more in stories than they'll engage in a post. And then you got other people that never respond in a story and they only engage on a post. So I would say both are equally important and they just serve a different purpose.
Yeah.
Don asked, while we're on the subject of video, how polished are your videos, casual or staged? And, Alicia, I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are on that. I mean, both of them work. I think it goes to your branding to a certain extent. What is your image? What types of clients are you looking to attract? But I mean, mine tend to be a little bit more polished, but I personally love the ones that are more casual and fun. So it's just, I don't know, Alicia, do you have a thought on that?
I think, it really goes back to, what even Tammy said, like based on your platform and the content. If you're promoting a specific neighborhood, I think that has to be professional and well edited and, because you're talking about the neighborhood. But if it's something about you just wanted to show your personality and, I'm Sarah Bernard and, something that's more casual, I think there is a place for that as well. So I think really understanding, and the workbook will talk about that. I mean, I think really understanding your objective and the goals, and that applies for content for your platforms, whether it's video or what are your goals with that video, that will help you make the right decision.
Yeah, and Stephen actually asked a question about goals, so let's go to that. Stephen asked, what are the primary metrics that you aim for during a quarterly or yearly basis? I assume for like social media as a whole. Is it more important to have a growth or goal mindset in terms of followers and engagement? And what are the analytical behaviors that you see from individuals in your specific markets that push your marketing efforts? These are really good questions. They're very in-depth. I personally feel like I said at the beginning, just being out there, having a presence, being regular about your posting, let people know you're in business. If you are afraid to post or don't have a social media presence at all or not making an effort, you're missing a huge opportunity that is very, very inexpensive. It's one of the cheapest things you can do to market your business. So, I mean, specific goals, great question. I know Alicia probably has goals for us.
We do. We definitely do. And again, it goes back to the workbook. So we set benchmarks for Sarah. Basically every month we have a report. I kind of track all the impressions, the engagement. And of course, certain months we do better and certain months, it's not so good, but that's the nature of social media. You're not just going to go exponentially up all the time.
Nature of marketing.
Yeah, so we kind of always track the impressions. That's very important for us, and the unique reach. Those are the two main ones for me. For Sarah, basically. And obviously the engagement and the total number of clicks, because that's important for me because I know that people, whatever we're doing collectively is going to Sarah's website or calling Sarah. So those are the two main KPIs, key performance indicator for us. Yeah.
Anything to add to that, Tammy, in terms of metrics that you guys use? So first, the goal and the growth or goal mindset. I would say combine them, because every goal should have a growth mindset with it. So you should always be focusing with a growth mindset and just build your goals around that. And it could be anything. I love social media because it can tailor to what you want it to tailor to. There's no one magic system. Use it the way you are going to use it. It's kind of like the CRM. We say this a lot in business. What's the best CRM? The one you're going to use. So what's the best social media approach? The one you're actually going to do. So if you're actually going to do unpolished videos, go do it. If you're going to do polished videos, go do it. Don't let one person's way of doing it impede you from doing something. Everything works and nothing actually doesn't even work.
Yeah.
So get out there and do that. You want to add something, Sarah?
I just want to, I completely agree with what you just said, that use what you're going to use, because what you're using is what your client, the client that you want to attract is using what you're using, most likely.
Yeah.
And, and I know that Facebook, from what I can tell without knowing all the data that you probably have, Alicia, is tending to be a little bit older market demographic. And I'm a little bit older market demographic. I don't have grandchildren like you, Tammy, but which is hard to believe. But that's where my SOI is now. Instagram a little bit as well. Probably not TikTok, but Tammy very well might have people that clientele that's coming from that platform. So wherever you're attracted and what you're using personally and what you like to use is probably where your clients are as well.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
And part of growth too, besides just posting, and something that we do for Sarah is also engaging. So we call it push and pull. So pull is basically things that you just kind of post out there and hopefully someone likes you, etc. Right? And then I guess we can talk about the Instagram growth hack that we do for you. But push is we actually take time and we find similar businesses that would be, say, for example, a staging business that would complement Sarah. And so we'll go in there and we'll comment and we'll like their stuff and say, oh, we love your new staging. The goal is not necessarily, hopefully that specific post is going to lead to a lead or, someone's going to call Sarah right away. But if you do that consistently, and you hear this throughout the conversation, it's being consistent, you start realizing that the most successful people in social are engaging with other people, not just on their page, but on other people's page. And they do it consistently every single day. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe not every single day, but set 2 or 3 days aside.
So I have Alicia and her team are doing a lot of most of our posting and following and commenting, and people think it's me. I think sometimes you even like my kids' posts, which I appreciate. And they call me and they'll say, or was that your team? Like, for covering me there.
Yeah.
So, and that's okay as long as it's done consistently. But some teams, I know Samantha, who couldn't join us today, there is somebody, they have a very large team in Texas, and there is a marketing person internally on her team whose job it is to post daily, to post, they have a very tight system about listings and when they get posted and how often they get posted and the closings and all of that. And it's very systemized with somebody actually in the office doing that. We happen to use Alicia and her team a lot for 90% of what we do. And Tammy, I think you do it more internally. You yourself are doing a lot of it.
Yeah, I do have a marketing person and she handles our social medias, but I have access to it. So I'm in there. My admin has access to it. And then an agent in our office, well, all of our agents have access to the Facebook. Not all of them have access to the Instagram. So we're able to, help each other out with certain things. But we do have a social media person, and she works part-time for us, and she posts our listing posts. She comments on the engagement. She comments on other posts. We do have other social media sites that are not just our team site. So I have a kitchens of DFW, Instagram page. We have baths. So we have other Instagram pages that we work with to help feed and coordinate that. And she handles all of that are just outside of the real estate run Facebook page.
Yeah. And everyone in our team is an admin on our Facebook page. We do the comments and questions and we can respond. We all kind of work together on that as well. So let's see, Charles asks, if you have a personal and business page, how can one have control over whether someone else links to your personal or business page? So, personally, I love it if someone would link to us, but I think what you're talking about, Charles, might be if another business tries to kind of infiltrate your, you can have your settings set that you have to accept all of those things. Is that right? I know my personal page is set that way.
Yeah. So that's why it's important for, to have a business and a private, page. So with the private page, you can set with the settings. Unfortunately, with business, it's a little bit more because it's a business. So if they tag you personally, I mean, honestly, you have no choice, but you can set your settings where you can see the public post, but no one can see it, because you don't want creepers. If you have children, we get it, grandchildren. But in terms of business, if they tag you, I mean, basically just your public facing post pulls up. That's it. And that's why I really recommend that when I was talking to Sarah, having her agents having separate a business page and then their personal page.
Right. Exactly. And it
Even
just
though they're just
there even more, if everybody on the team has those two pages and we share content and they link, and I'll remind them, go to our business real estate page and share the content that was just put out there. Let's see. Carmel asked, what are we not allowed to do, say, in post? And, to me, this goes along with just advertising in general. In real estate, we are restricted by a lot more laws and rules and regulations at the state and federal level. So we just have to be conscious that you can't do anything in social media that you can't do anywhere else. And there's maybe, like Alicia said, a few more restrictions. You can send a postcard to certain zip codes, but you can't target those zip codes when you do a social media post. I'm also very careful about, I don't, now some people do this, but I don't tag people, clients, with a new home purchase, because oftentimes that's private unless we ask their permission. I'm just very careful about that. But absolutely we'll link our listings back to our website so we can get traffic back to the website. But generally speaking, it's just following those fair housing laws. And Facebook will, they won't post your ad or your boosted post if it doesn't fit their requirements, and they'll send you a message, and then you'll have to respond. And usually there is some miscommunication that you can get that corrected. Is that right, Alicia?
Yeah, actually, we're very sensitive to that right now because it used to be they would be very nice about it and send you a message and let you respond. But right now they just shut your account without when you letting know. Then you have to appeal and request and all that stuff. So it's just, they typically would, reinstate your account, but it's just, like work of days of just like appealing and all that stuff. A couple of things too when we post for Sarah as well is that, we avoid any political posts unless that's the stand you want, any religious, and just really keeping it about the business itself. So that's why it's like, going back again, it's like, you have always your personal page, you can do whatever you want, and then the business, keep it professional and into the business. But I would say it goes back to your personality. I follow other realtors just to kind of see, and other brokerage to kind of see what they're doing in terms, so I can be well informed for Sarah. And I've seen like the fun, brokerage, and they're super fun and maybe younger and energetic, and they use different emojis, and the copy's a little more millennial, if you want to put it that way. So have fun with it. I think the biggest only thing is it's like, check your grammar. I don't know how many times, I've seen other realtor, it's like, I get the whole internet slang and, jargon. There's a lot of them on social, but, something simple like using, contractions like your and you are, little things like that. People do pay attention on social, but
some other really good questions here. Mark is asking something I was just actually thinking about. It kind of fits with our topic of talking about politics on your page, either whether it's personal or your business page. And I always think back to, if you work for a big corporation, what would they allow you? I mean, even corporations will have restrictions on their employees about what they are allowed to post on social media. We don't work for corporations. We are entrepreneurs. We are solo business owners. But just remember that everything you post is a reflection on you, and just be cautious, because you will attract the client that you want based on what you're posting, or that you don't want perhaps. So just be aware that everything you post is public. I mean, I'm a little bit, I would say I'm very restricted in what I post. I don't post personal opinion pieces. And someone else asked, what have you seen realtors do that detract from their business, growing their business? And that would be one mistake I've seen, is that people are, I've actually seen a realtor very angry about a transaction, whether angry at another agent, and posting the whole story. And I mean, why? That's just, to me, that is not a good idea. So just be careful about anger posts. And also another caution is posting, and Tammy, I don't know how you feel about this, but I see these posts, sold in 3 hours. Anything that shows that they barely needed you and that they don't need you. So be careful that you don't get so excited about these quick contracts and multiple offers that you actually make it look too easy for people. They could just do it themselves. So Tammy, anything?
So I like the term, what emotion did you evoke? So when you're posting something, what emotion are you invoking with the people that are going to see that post? And is it an attractive emotion? And, so are you attracting people? Are you turning them away? Sometimes Facebook or some of these other platforms, they kind of become our journal where we vent. And when we get on there and we just like vomit and vent on everybody, and we're really not evoking a good emotion. We're not evoking an attractive emotion. We might be actually, dividing people in our sphere. And that does actually hurt your business. The struggle with social media is there's a way to track, how it affects your business. And then there's a way not to track how it affects your business. What you can't track is those you turn away. You don't know. That's one thing you can't track. You can only track as far as when someone asked about metrics, you can only measure that which has a result, but you don't know the results you're missing out on. So you don't know the number of people that unfollowed you, or, well, I guess you know who unfollowed you, but who would, what is that on Facebook? I'm trying to remember. Like, I don't want to see your post again, but you didn't realize I unfollowed you. Yeah. So you don't know that. You don't know the people that scroll on by. You only measure those who like it, but you don't know how many people saw it that didn't like it, especially on your personal page. You also don't know how many people went, oh, so there's a lot with social media you cannot track, but you are only attracting those who actually engage with it. So I would say, steer very clear. I don't absolutely at all post public opinion. I mean, political opinion. I don't. I also don't post anything that I'm upset about or angry about or frustrated about. And like Sarah said, those posts where we're just going, we have no value at all. It's just the market. The market is the one that's selling the whole, the homes. We're just going to raise the for sale by owners. We're going to raise the discount brokerages out there. So if you're going to post something that it sold within 3 hours, post that you've been working with those people for 3 or 4 months. What did you put in that it sold so quickly for? So that's really the value there. The value wasn't that someone saw it on realtor.com and brought a buyer over and you're just sitting in your home drinking coffee doing nothing. The value was all the months prior to that of the right paint color and how to stage the property and how to get it clean.
And I think going what Tammy was saying too is like, I think it's just like the value in tracking it isn't just more than just impression. It's like how many people that did not, so for example, it's like one of the posts I really cautious is a drinking post. And literally I remember, a girl, Brittany, who that Sarah helped sell a house. And she had another friend, agent, but he would always post pictures of him drinking on his, it's just like, a little like toast to a new, we're closing a house, that's fine. But it was kind of muddy, like he would post drinking. And I mean, literally, it's just kind of like, well, I went with Sarah because he is so bro-ish. Like, even though she didn't like or dislike any of his posts, it's just when it came time to buy that whole year, I mean, he was not building trust with her. She was building trust with Sarah. So, that's why when going back to content pillars, it's so important. You can't probably see a result right away, like this specific post yield, you know, this specific house, you know, lead and sold this specific house, but your overall brand online is a reflection of you. So how would you, do you invoke trust? Does your posts and stories and videos invoke professionalism, trust, accountability, perseverance, and hard work?
Mm-hmm. Question for Tammy from our friend Trish Nash in Las Vegas.
Hey, Trish Nash.
So she says, how do you use TikTok for real estate? It's a great question. What are your, I know you're.
Okay, I'm just dipping my toe in there right now, Trish Nash. So just take this as a toe dipper. But my son-in-law, who this is his profession, is TikTok, makes like pretty dang good money on helping people market on TikTok. It's information. It's certainly attractive, kind of fun little upbeat little videos, but relaying information out there for things to consider before buying a house. Make that fun. So it would list, you know, you'd be like,
yeah,
yeah, you see all those people. You know, so just fun little things. I think of TikTok more as a ramped up way of using stories by delivering content information that's helpful, but that's entertaining, but it certainly isn't something you would likely put on your page, you know, on your Instagram. So I look at TikTok as that way, but I can send you his information, or just get on TikTok and look at some real estate people that are out there. TikTok is still kind of, even though they've been around a while, it's still kind of new with people lead generating off of it. It's this new thing out there. So if you're looking for a platform that not a lot of people have really jumped into in the real estate profession, TikTok would be it.
It's very funny. Okay, so we have a few 9 minutes or so left. So somebody is asking about the workbook that is from Alicia. It's a special gift to everyone who's on this, and I'm not sure how that's being sent out. I think you'll get a link to that from Workman. We've got everybody registered. Is anything different on that, Alicia, that you know of?
No, it's a code I sent to Shyla earlier. So you just go to the link and key in the code, and you should get it. It's a downloadable. So
Yeah, we'll be
that's
emailing
awesome.
everyone who attended and everyone who registered. So just stand by with your email, and you will receive all of that later.
So that's so cool, Alicia. Thank you for that.
yeah, you're welcome. I think we have.
Okay. And I do see the question about budget. For this, I would say when you approach your budget, as with anything in business, you know, allocate a certain amount of money there. Be very intentional with what you want to do with that budget. If it's budget for lead generation, if it's budget for brand recognition, be very intentional and set a metric on it. That way, you know, at least the money spent, it's not just like I'm throwing money out there and I hope something's going to return back on me. You're very intentional with it. One thing we learn in Workman is anything we set aside money on, it really should be almost not, instead of considering it a debt, consider it an investment. So whatever I'm spending money on, even if it's a personnel or admin staff, I want to be able to set a metric or a goal around it generating 5 times its return. So if I'm investing in an administrative personnel, then that administrative personnel, whatever she or he is taking on, is going to allow the team to generate 5 times the return on that salary. So the same with social media, whatever kind of budget you're spending on it. Now I'll say that the 113 leads on Facebook was spent with $400 and something. So, you know, it's a significant amount, but the return on that, it's absolutely going to pay off in its return on it. When I'm marketing listing ads, I set it at $35.
Okay, that's great. Somebody was asking about how to learn. Like, if, you know, I mean, we're kind of talking all over the place here on this webinar, but if you're just really still learning, intimidated by social media, what is the best resource to go to learn more? Certainly, Alicia's ebook would be a great place to start. Did I freeze? I keep freezing.
Yeah, that was good.
So Alicia, okay, and then I know Amy Porterfield is a very well-known social media expert trainer. She's got a lot of free webinars. Amy Porterfield, if you search her, really good content, not specific to real estate, but just in general about Facebook marketing in particular. Anything else, Alicia?
I like Marie Forleo. She does mostly about business, but how really you can use more content and social media to really, make a difference. But, I think going back is just, I would say take it one platform at a time. I know there's so many, and it's very tempting to be like, I want to do Facebook, I want to do Pinterest, I want to do Instagram, and do all of them. But pick one that you're comfortable with, and it's just like yoga and meditation. Practice with that, and practice until you're really good. So posting consistently, that you develop strategies around it, and once you've established that and you're very comfortable, then move on to the next platform.
Yeah, I'm going to post. Somebody just asked about Marie Folio. I just posted Amy Porterfield, and I'm going to post
Marie Forleo. Marie Forleo. Yeah.
Yeah, she's coming. There you go. A couple of great.
And I'm going to say, pay attention to yourself. So when we talk about, following the behaviors of those that are in your sphere, start really paying attention to how do you engage in social media. There's a lot to learn there. How are you engaging it? What are you liking? What attracts you? Because likely what attracts you is what attracts your sphere, rather than just copying somebody else. If it's not your personality and it's not your internal makeup, you will not copy somebody else exactly. So pay attention to your own behaviors. Pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to, what your friends are doing. So that's where you're going to learn the most. And that's for me has been the most helpful, is what do I enjoy doing? What do I enjoy talking about? Some people actually enjoy talking about the law behind transactions, and some people enjoy talking about, the aesthetics of the properties. So you're going to be most successful in what you love doing. That's where you're going to find the most success, because that's where your passion is and that's where your heart is. So start really paying attention to what you're going on and get to know yourself on social media, and then just start from there.
Yeah, one of my realtor friends, he would post does post every single week, like a different room of the house. So he'll get a beautiful living room, and it might be one of his listings, or it might be just something he finds in Pinterest. And he posts it on Facebook and engages people in conversation. What do you love most about this room? And he just gets people talking about it. And every week it's a different room, and it's just part of his brand, really, is great styling, and he's kind of known for that. So you can pick your thing. Somebody was asking about once you create a social media presence and post consistently, what's typically the time frame you can start to see results? And I think the key there in that question is actually the answer, and that is posting consistently. I see so many people, and some of my coaching clients do this, where they'll have a Facebook page and they don't keep up with it. They stop. They might post a few times and then they stop. If you just keep out there, keep doing it, it will not take long at all before people start saying to you when you're out and about, oh, I saw that house you just listed, or I saw such and such. Now, what happens for me a lot, because I've got Alicia and her team posting, they'll say, oh, I saw that house you sold on Instagram. Like, which house would that be? I'm not sure which one we posted, but it's okay, because people, the more you do it, it won't take long. If you're consistent, it will not take long before people are going to start mentioning your posts. Like literally weeks, just a few weeks, but just keep doing it. Do not stop.
Yeah. And one thing I would avoid too, I've been seeing that people would post and then they maybe disappear for 2 months and they get busy and then they do a cluster post of just boom, boom, because they start freaking out. And, it's not proven, but, I've just, from my experience in managing Sarah and other accounts, is that Instagram and Facebook don't really like that. They would kind of penalize you. And also for Instagram too, is you don't want to post. Instagram is not like Facebook, so do not post in your feed more than once a day, because if you post like 5 in a day, they will decrease your reach on Instagram, and you don't want that. So anything that's small, that's fun, like which goldfish do I eat, put it on stories, but think of your feed on Instagram as a magazine. So you're the editor, the publisher. What would you want people to see? Because that's evergreen. Anything else that's fun, bite-sized, put it on stories. They disappear in 24 hours.
Yeah, that's great advice. And just remember with social media, just like anything else in your business, like Tammy mentioned this earlier, just like prospecting, you want to do it regularly. You want it to be part of working on your business. It might be a pain in the neck and you hate it, but not everybody loves marketing, but it's something we all have to do. And if you don't love to do it, find someone who'll do it for you. I actually love it, but I love Alicia more. So she helps. But you know, just take the time and time block for that. And you know, one thing we haven't talked about, and we really just have maybe another minute or so, is influencer marketing. Do you want to touch on that, Alicia?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So influencer marketing obviously came up from Instagram and Facebook. So what we actually tried on for Sarah, and it's really interesting, is for real estate. We've been doing this for other accounts, but what you do is you kind of identify top influencers. They can be bloggers basically, and they have very high followers on social. So basically what we do is we leverage their following. So we had Erin Jura, who is a top St. Louis blogger. She was named in St. Louis Magazine, top blogger in our city. And I had her go in and she did a fun Facebook Live showcasing the house. And the goal is to basically reach her target audience. And she said, I think she had like in that 10-minute time span, she had about 2,500 people that tune in. I mean, I don't know how many people, actually call about the house, but that was a very interesting way to tap into a new set of audience.
Yeah, it's just something different. And it's something that, I'm always pushing Alicia, and we're always talking about, I wouldn't say pushing you because you bring so many great ideas to us, but I'm always open to what's new and different, what's out there, what are realtors not doing? Because realtors, honestly, overall are not using social media very well. Most are not. So if you can get out ahead of your competition in the marketplace, then it's going to be really good for your business. You'll be known for that.
And be comfortable with media. So with Sarah, we're in talks with a local station right now to do an interview, but it's not necessarily about a house, but I think they're going to be talking about just overall lifestyle change in this COVID. So be open to all those opportunities, because that helps. It goes back to content, and you get to repurpose that on your social.
Yeah, we've done some TV interviews where I'll go on and do something, a couple minutes about something in real estate staging or whatever, and then Alicia and her team, they'll take that snippet out and then just repurpose it and reuse it. And you can keep reusing it. So look like an expert. Yeah,
so maybe hire a PR firm around in your your local area that could help pitch stories to to local media, and that's a great way to get your name out there.
Beth asked, this is our last question because I'm sure people need to get back to whatever, hopefully posting on social media, but Beth is asking, what's your opinion of showcasing local businesses? Fantastic idea. Like Alicia was saying earlier, to follow businesses and they'll follow you. Showcasing them just brings more attention to you too, because they'll probably share your post. Anything to add on that, Alicia?
Yeah, and that could be part of your content pillar. So we did share that actually it did really well, was one of the most top engaged posts. It's one of those great ways to engage your audience without selling per se. So we like to do a rule. It's kind of like the 80-20 rule when we're posting for Sarah. It's like, 4 posts would be about lifestyle. And that could be, fall's coming, where, which pumpkin do you like, or what fall decoration. And the other 2 would be more call to action focus, and,
the different types of posts. Tammy, anything to add before we wrap up?
Just get started. It's kind of like prospecting. Just get started. Just, there's always a delete button. Okay. If you post it and an hour later you're having regrets, just go and delete it.
Posted how to save the whole chat. There's some really good stuff there. Great resources, great places to learn. Just to spend a little bit of time watching some videos to learn more about how others are doing it and how the experts suggest doing it. Great idea. So, oh, and then one more question. Sorry, the questions keep coming. They're really good. Do you use a content calendar to plan out your posts? Absolutely. I meant to mention that earlier. We do have a content calendar that's 2 weeks out. We're having to adjust it sometimes if a property sells or whatever, and we were going to post it next week. But absolutely, having a content calendar 1 to 4 weeks out will really help make your life so much easier. And you can auto schedule posts too. You don't have to do them live in the moment. All that's on Facebook. It's not that hard. All right, I think that's it. Anything else? All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today, and glad you all could be here. Great questions. See you soon. Have a great day.